Hey guys, this is Isha.
Hi, Maya.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Hiubang Show.
Yeah.
As always, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and turn your bell on.
Guys, this is so unbelievable. This is our 21st or 22nd video
22nd video
of the day,
Yeah.
non-stop,
Non-stop.
from 11 a.m.
To right now,
This
the
is
clock
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
We've been doing 5 hours.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
5
5
hours non-stop. So guys, as always, that's our short rant. We're going to react to this video, who is requested by many people. Masih Asgar, Universal Fund, 30 Sec
Mirut
Creation,
Saikia.
Namal Tinlas, and Mirut Saikia.
Yeah.
What is this video? This video is India is reclaiming Superpower to Superpower by, of course, Karolina Goswami, who is the the owner of the channel India in Details.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Check it out.
India is going through a massive transformation. The 21st century India is responding to globalization, and this is reflected in its transforming cityscapes. Mumbai, the national capital region.
You know, all the city shot, the white shot. Does Karolina
Kolkata,
Goswami take it by herself, or this is a stock photo from
I
the
think
internet?
I think she has
Chennai.
a team to produce the video.
This is a like 4K low, ini loh.
Hyderabad, Bengaluru.
Oh, this is the
change is becoming
Silicon.
more and more
Silicon.
visible.
Bagus ya?
The country has brought 271 million people out of poverty between the years of 2005 to 2016. Standard Chartered's long-term forecast expects India to become the world's second largest economy by 2030, overtaking the US and becoming second only to China. It should be noted that India has already become the third largest economy in purchasing power terms, and in nominal terms, it is the sixth largest in the world. According to the Center for International Development at Harvard University, the economic pole of global growth has moved over the past few years from China to neighboring India, where it is likely to stay over the coming decade. In terms of economic progress, is India becoming the next China? The Beijing-based Chinese think tank, Unbound, thinks so. According to Unbound, China needs to seriously consider and study the rise of India's economy and India's competitive advantage. India, an ancient land with growing young population, is an emerging market power. It is entirely possible for it to become the next China and poses great attraction to the world's capital.
I think India should focus on becoming the
Chinese
first
think tank's
India, not
apprehensions
like
are
becoming
not
the
unfounded.
second China. Apa sih lo?
Leading international business leaders, think tanks, and
But
global
that's only the
CEOs
prediction.
now consider India as one of the most attractive
I
destinations
think
for
India
investment
might
and
be able
technology
to
transactions.
outgrow China because a lot of
What are
masalahnya
the
itu
conditions
China
that are
banyak
favoring India?
problem
What are
dengan
the factors
politikalnya
that have
mereka.
brought
Ya,
India to
India
the
kan
world center
politikalnya nggak terlalu
What is it
Parah
that makes
gitu.
India one of the largest growth engines in the world? My name is Karolina Goswami, and in this episode, you will become familiarized a little bit more with the world's largest democracy and the country
She's
which
grown
is
a little
going
bit,
to
yeah.
play a key role in shaping the future of our planet. India is the #1 offshoring destination in the world, accounting for approximately 55% market share of the global services sourcing business. Indian IT companies have a presence in more than 80 countries, and Indian IT giant TCS is set to become the world's
Tata
third largest
Consultation
IT
Service.
services company. India has the world's third largest startup ecosystem. It is expected that by 2034, the Indian e-commerce industry will overtake the US to become the second largest e-commerce market. India already has the second largest telecom network in the world, and it is expected to have a total internet user base of more than 800 million by 2021. India has more than 250 million school-going students, which is more than any other country. The country has become the second largest market for e-learning after the US. A report by Ernst & Young stated that by 2030, the emergence of a robust higher education system would enable India to have more than 20 universities among the global top 200. In terms of scientific output, India ranks 5th in the world, and by 2030,
This stock
it
video
is
is used
expected to
by many
climb
video,
by
ya?
the 3rd.
Apa tadi video apa ya?
In 2017,
Banana itu.
India
Iya,
ranked first in the
yang
Global
2019.
Retail Development Index. By 2030, it is set to become the 3rd largest consumer market.
Ini mau.
The number of operational
Yeah,
airports in
Central Park.
India will rise to 200 in 2 decades, and by 2024, it will overtake the UK to become the 3rd largest air passenger market. Ports, rail, highways. Ambitious infrastructure projects are rapidly changing the face of India. The country is already building a bullet train infrastructure, and it is also working on the Hyperloop.
The Virgin one. See, I already
India's
know.
state-of-the-art Train
They
18,
become,
which is a semi-high-speed indigenously built train,
Expert.
has
Enggak
already
juga
found
sih.
many global admirers who have expressed an interest in importing it. India is already creating a web of modern urban metro networks in its big cities. After the completion of Phase 4,
This is
the
the
Delhi
part that
Metro
I'm
will
jealous
become
of.
the 3rd largest metro network in
Metro
the
system.
world,
Metro
with a
system,
total length of approximately
With, very
450
long
kilometers.
rail.
With more than
We only have
7,000
from-
freight trains
from,
carrying 3 million
Harmony,
tons of
from
freight
dari
daily, and more than
HI to
12,000
Lebak
passenger
Bulus.
trains with 23 million travelers on board every day, the Indian Railways, with its 115,000 kilometer network and more than 7,000 stations, is among the world's largest. Spanning over 5.5 million kilometers, India has the world's 2nd largest road network, and by 2022, the country is expected to have
I
a
think this is
national
what Jokowi
highway
talks
network
about, right?
of 200,000
Infrastructure.
kilometers.
The highway.
Yeah.
India is the 2nd largest casting
Oh.
producer in the world. It is also the 2nd largest producer of steel and cement. The construction market in India will grow nearly twice as fast as China up to 2030, and the country is expected to overtake Japan to become the world's 3rd largest construction market by 2021. Thanks to these solid
Next year.
indicators, there shouldn't be any
Hey,
surprise
oh,
that
really?
the Indian real
Oh,
estate
yeah.
industry is expected to be the 3rd largest in the world by 2030. India is already the 2nd largest mobile phone manufacturer in the world. It is the 3rd largest producer of coal and 4th largest producer of iron ore. The country is the world's largest cutting and polishing center for diamonds, and in 2017, it exported 75% of the world's polished diamonds. By 2020,
Lu
it
tahu
is
yang,
expected to
you
become
know,
the
like
5th largest
recently,
manufacturing
not
country in
recently,
the
was it
world.
last year, there was
In
a debate about
2017,
whether or not
India became the
lu tahu yang
4th largest
ngeleburin
auto market. It is
ngeleburin
already the largest
coal segala
manufacturer
macam
of
gitu.
two-wheelers and tractors in the world.
Our president
It is the world's
wants
3rd
to
largest
build
heavy
our
truck
own,
manufacturer
yang
and
untuk
4th largest
ngelebur
car
gitu karena
producer.
kita smelter
By 2020,
di
it is
Indonesia tuh nggak ada.
expected to become
Oh, ya?
4th
Iya, nggak
largest
ada.
manufacturer of
Jadi yang ada itu dari luar
automobiles
negeri.
globally, and
Jadi
the
Kita
Indian
punya
auto
juri,
components industry
itu
is
import
set
juga.
to become the
bukan
3rd
jadi
largest in the world by
prosesnya itu
2025.
is being done not by our
Jaguar,
people, it's
Range
being done by
Rover,
the
and Sangyong
foreigners.
Motors are owned by Indian companies.
Sangyong? Oh, Sangyong.
India's national healthcare program, Ayushman Bharat, is the largest government-funded healthcare program in the world. The country also contributes immensely to global healthcare. India is the top supplier of doctors to both the UK and the USA. Indian hospitals receive nearly 500,000 international patients annually, and medical tourism in the country is expected to touch $8 billion by 2020. It is difficult to imagine how the world would be able to combat AIDS without Indian input. Globally, over 80% of the antiretroviral drugs which are used to combat AIDS are supplied by India. 30% of the annual UNICEF requirement of antiretroviral drugs is supplied by India. Indian drugs are exported to more than 200 countries in the world. Since India is the largest provider of generic drugs globally,
I think
it is
she
also
talks
known
about this
as the
also, right?
pharmacy
In
of the world.
the
Yeah,
movie,
the video, yeah.
25% of all medicines in the UK
Are you
are
sick
sourced
of-
from
Are you
India.
sick of India? Yeah.
40% of generic drugs taken by Americans are made in India. And the country's massive pharmaceutical industry is the source of more than 50% of global demand for various vaccines. India's rich culture and spiritual foundational wisdom are its big assets. It is the land which gave birth to pro-environment traditions like aparigraha. It shouldn't be a surprise that India secured the best score in the Green Dex survey and emerged as one of the least wasteful
I
economies.
wonder what is Karolina
This is a
Goswami's
Karbi
major
traditional home.
university.
Oh yeah, yeah.
These traditional tribal homes are one of the finest displays of India's rich heritage. They represent a combination of intelligent engineering and sustainable living, which is totally relevant in the 21st century. The Indian state, Sikkim, has become the role model for the entire world
Oh,
in
it's
organic
India.
farming.
Mm.
It is the world's first 100% organic state.
Sikkim.
Fruit and vegetable production, tea production, silk production, bamboo genetic resources. India ranks second in the world in all these departments. In other agricultural commodities like rice, wheat and pulses, it is also among the top producers. With as many as 8,000 species, India is the world's second largest exporter of medicinal plants. It is the world's largest producer of dairy, and globally, India has been the largest milk-producing country since 1997.
Really?
After the United States, Japan and
Hong
China,
Kong.
India is the fourth largest producer of agrochemicals. Some of the biggest solar farms of the world are located in
I
India.
believe this one.
The Indian renewable
No, no,
energy
I
sector
mean, I
is the
believe.
fourth
I know.
most attractive renewable energy market in the world,
What?
and the country is well positioned to surpass its 2022 renewable energy target.
This is
That's Karolina.
In Paris,
yeah, that's right.
India pledged that by 2030, 40% of its installed capacity will come from renewable sources, and it is expected that by 2050, renewables will supply 75% of electricity in India. Thorium is considered to be the nuclear fuel of the future, and India has one of the largest shares of global thorium reserves. India is expected to have 30.5 million international tourist arrivals by 2028, but its real potential is a lot more.
Will us be the one
With
of
26
the
biotic
30.5
provinces,
million?
10 biogeographical zones, more than 30 World Heritage Sites,
Oh, nice.
a
This is
7,000-kilometer coastal line, as well as its mountains, deserts, rainforests, islands, volcano, salt flats, wildlife, and tribal habitation. India is incredibly diversified. Its 29 states, 7 union territories, 4,000 cities, and 600,000 villages have a lot of hidden potential. Many of them are not yet fully explored and discovered. In 2017, India ranked first in the world's first digital traveler rankings when it was revealed that it had the most digitally advanced travelers. There is no denying that India is emerging as a lucrative expat destination. It is the 12th best country to live in as an expat. It is far ahead of countries like the USA, the UK, Japan,
What is
and
number 1 to
China.
11 though?
India-based expats earn an average of $176,000, which means that they are the second highest paid in the world. On the other hand, Indians who are living outside India have performed exceptionally well and have rightfully earned the tag of model minority. In both the UK and the USA, the Indian community has been outperforming other ethnic groups academically and economically. India is also the world's top recipient of remittances, as its diaspora sent $79 billion back home in 2018. The country is also expected to benefit from the reverse brain drain. From its film industry to its space agency and defense, India's growth can be seen across a very broad spectrum. In terms of ticket sales and number of films made, India has the world's largest film industry. India is a nuclear-armed nation, and its military is the fourth strongest in the world. Its space agency, ISRO, has already reached Mars, and now it is planning to send humans to space. For its commercial arm, Antrix, it has launched hundreds of foreign satellites for multiple developed and developing nations. This may all sound very impressive, but for India, this is just the beginning. It wants to attain self-dependence in core technologies, and it wants to participate in the fourth industrial revolution. But will India be able to earn its rightful place in the powerful and influential global forums which are dominated by the Western nations? Will India be able to help those forums become truly global and truly democratic by challenging the existing supremacy of the Western powers? Will India be able to protect its citizens from tech colonization? And will it be able to have a stronger voice in the global media? Will India be able to protect its identity from the Western religious and commercial monocultures which are homogenizing its cultures and diversity? Will it be able to learn the best global practices? And will it be able to preserve the best that it has? Unlike others, will India be able to use its science for global public good and not just for commercial returns? Those who are concerned about India's economic development's impact on the environment should also understand that India's historical emissions are extremely low in comparison to other global powers. Just because the financial prosperity of many developed nations and colonial powers came at the cost to the environment and through the misery of colonized nations, it does not mean that there are no other ways to walk the path to prosperity. Through its approach of universal familyhood, which is rooted in its ancient foundational wisdom, India is practicing what others could only preach. The world should take note of that. See you again.
That was insightful, although some of the facts we have already watched.
Definitely, I think one of the reasons, no offense to those of you who have actually recommended us to Karolina Goswami, but there was actually like repeating to a lot of the other videos that she, that we have reacted before, the ones that like Superpower. I think it's just the wording are different.
Yeah.
However, once again, Karolina Goswami is out there trying to prove that in India is not a country that is to be messed with.
The point is, Karolina is trying to change people outside India's perspective about India.
Definitely, that was very interesting. We know how India is being seen as a country that is not being taken seriously. And after watching a lot of like Karolina Goswami's video, or like
any other facts, content.
I forgot what I did. 101 India, I think, or something like that. Are saying that India is not a country to be messed with, and we all know that. But we are really hoping to see more progress from India, and hopefully, because Indonesia is a lot closer to India, we're gonna be bridge.
Maybe we can
enter international relationship, a better international relationship.
Yeah.
As always.
Thank you for watching and see ya.
Bye. Oh, udah ngasal terakhir.